Alright, I want to do a walk around with the 1993 M Series model 10590 Lawn Boy 5 horsepower. If you don't know, this is Lawn Boy's kind of last high-end model they made as an OMC label, as far as OMC engineered. This one I believe came out was I want to say was right at $1,000 or $900. This is oil injected. That's kind of really unique. It has basically it's a little cam gear off the crankshaft, off the flywheel, off top of the motor that runs the pump. And here's a little sight glass. You can see it's down. It also has a sight glass for your gas. It also has a oil pressure sensor, or oil sensor, I guess, a low level sensor that'll shut the motor off. Apparently that was bad when I bought this mower, so I have it unhooked. You can see it, just kind of hanging right there. It also had a bag sensor that would tell you the bag is full. It was also faulty, so I unhooked that as well. It's right here. Or that's right here. It's right here. This is it's a port injected versus versus a crank injected or through the so this doesn't have a, I guess that's called a reed intake. This is a port intake. One nice feature about this is the exhaust comes out and then it exits down through through the deck, which makes it really quiet. And the older F models, I know I had a not F, but it was a whatever, the 4.5, and that had the exhaust around underneath the motor, basically where the blade runs in. That would have tendency to rust out, even if you kept it inside, because just the way it worked with the. Anyway, had a tendency to rust out. This has a you get a bag, or you can has a mulching plug, and that's what's right here. Apparently, these are pretty hard to find if you don't have one on one of these mowers. So there you go, and then the bag would sit. Just like that. Real super easy to undo when you're bagging. This is a tough torque transmission in it. On the newer model Lawn Boy Toros, basically that whole mechanism would pivot when you pull the lever. On this, you actually engage a little lever that kind of puts it in gear, more or less, which is right here. So that's the difference. So this thing spins all the time, whereas the other style, this will pivot up, and then once it makes contact, tightens the belt, and it spins. So it's a little different here. So it's a 3-speed. For this year, I am running a tack on this one. You can see right there, I got a 0.6 hours on it so far. Pretty slick. Like, you can watch the tack. It runs about 3100 RPM. It has the governor is it's an internal governor, so it's based on engine speed. Two little ball bearings that centrifugal force will apply more throttle when you need it. So it does hold RPM pretty well. I do have a pretty nasty hill to climb, and it does hold very good RPM on that. As far as one thing too, all the cables are in the arms. Nice about this model too, you can actually undo those big nuts and tilt it forward to help you store it in the off season, or when you want to put it away so you don't need as much room. This does not have a choke on it. I mean, it does not have a power ball, just a choke, and it actually starts really well. Let's do a cold start here. Full choke. Should take probably 2 pulls. So pretty good for a 20-plus-year-old machine. I checked the compression on it. It's right at 105. So check that. When I first bought it, and then after been running for a year and a half now, it's maintained that. So definitely has enough power to do a good job. Your air filter's behind here, and I added this fuel filter too. So other than that, I did have a clogged exhaust port. It kind of threw me off for a little while. Other than that, things been pretty much runs very well. It does cut, I believe, a little better than my other staggered deck. So I have to show that later on. Do a little. It seems like it has a little more suction and it will pull grass up a little better, where sometimes the other one will lay it over and it doesn't cut it correctly all the time, depending on the grass conditions and, you know, the moisture's in the grass and that kind of thing. So good enough. The other thing I want to show you too, this is a magnesium deck. It does not have a mulching fan. It's just in the deck design, and does mulch really well. I mean, had no real complaints about it. It is a little heavy. That is the only drawback to this deck design. It is definitely heavy. I don't like it, but on easy ground it's great, and when you get them manhandled on hills and get around obstacles on hills, it's not as much fun. So, but I do like how it cuts. I do like it. It's a 2-stroke. So okay, here's this is my other mower. Basically, I split half time. We did this one in my M series. This is a DuraForce. I think it's actually a 10547 model, which had electric start. I think it 10525 would be this equivalent of this without electric start. I bought this from a dealer that had it sitting in a pile, and I think I paid like 20 bucks for it. So it actually ran. I got it for about a day, and then it threw the crank connecting rod through the side of the motor. Apparently it was rusted. So I replaced the short block and just changed the parts over. So the short block is only I want to say, what is it, about 4 years old. Nice difference between the exhaust here is not through the motor, so it is actually quite a bit louder than the M series, the way it runs. This has a aluminum deck versus the magnesium. It is quite a bit lighter. The stock, I did add these Toro wheels on it with the bearing. It actually gives quite a bit. It's kind of a rubber. It's more grip. I got these. I think I paid 40 bucks for the set out of a dealer Yeah, so somewhere around there, between 30 and 40 bucks a set from a dealer out of Ohio. I think they're on Amazon too as well. This is a 3-speed. The difference here is this is where you basically just rock the whole mechanism and it engages the belt. This is a very positive drive system. It's a little bit runs a little easier to use than the Tough Torque. It's also when you're in third gear, you're almost running. So I normally cut it in second, and that's about the ideal speed for me. But I do like how the positive feel of it. It's very, once you grab it, you put it in engage and pull the lever, it takes off. So this has the governor system on it. This is basically, it's see right there, it's the weather vane. So it just takes air off the flywheel, and as the speed slows down, then that gives you more throttle. It actually works pretty slick. You just got to adjust that little spring dial there and get that set right. But as you can see, I'm not much into clean. I want to keep him good running over. That's the only thing I care about. So as long as it runs good. Internally, I don't care what it looks like on the outside, as long as definitely keep the stuff to keep them if they would corrode or rust. That's the only thing I'm really worried about. This does have the mulching blade. I probably need to clean this deck a little bit, but there's the mulching blade. Mulching fan, excuse me. That works really well, in my opinion. I think makes this thing to mulch. I do this. If you do not have that fan on there, this thing will mulch with the crap. It'll plug up real quick. So I do need to clean that the way it looks. And this is also not in, this is mixed, so it's 32-to-1. Even though a lot of guys are running 50-to-1, which probably could be okay, but I still mix it 50-to-1. And these guys that run 80 to 100-to-1 are crazy. Even if you're running the best oil you can find, it's just not meant. Because, in my opinion, the oils it helps cool the motor, and that's what takes. There's no, it's not liquid cooled, so you want to keep it as cool as possible. That's what takes them out when you get them too hot. So that's why I run it at 32-to-1, even though technically I could probably go 50-to-1. That one runs at actually it's 64-to-1, so through the pump. So, but it's a little bit different system on it as far as the way it oils, because it's oiling into the top of the piston, versus this oils through the crankcase, so through the reed intake. So I also do have a tack on this one as well. Like I said, they both run pretty much identical running speed, about 32, between 30,000 and 3,200 RPM, both of them. But I'm actually looking for I want to just do a side discharge on this thing, because at some point in time I won't mind side discharging. The decks, people always wonder why does Lawn Boy stagger the deck or stagger the wheels here. Well, you can logically see that as that blade's going around and the clippings are going around, this is the most momentum is going to be on this part of the deck. As it gets back towards here, you lose momentum, and a lot of times clippings will collect right here or right here in the back side of that opening. So that is actually where the most efficient way to get rid of the clippings. This one is totally designed for bagging or mulching. That's it. It was not really designed to side discharge. You can get a back chute here and shoot to the right or to the left, I have seen that, but I don't know that. I don't have no plans to get that option. I did on this one here. I did do some carb work to it. I did pull the pilot jet or main jet or Allojet and drill it one side, and also drill the main jet one side as well. It did seem to run a little better. It idles down a little better. I didn't have much of a surging problem, but anyway, it seems to run okay. It might use a little bit more fuel than normal, but that's alright. I also have a fuel shut off and a filter on that as well. As far as adjusting it, both of them use a similar kind of a flimsy. Actually, they hold pretty well when you adjust it. Haven't had issues with it popping out unless you get set them. This one here is kind of a difficult. I didn't really get the number system when I first bought it, and so I had to get tape measures figured out so I had to get exactly where I want it. So basically, right now it's at 3 inches, and you can go to 7, which is 3.5. That's the highest. So they both cut the same lengths. But as far as a favorite, I would say the DuraForce is probably if I'm going to grab one, be this, just because it's lighter, it's more positive drive system on it, and power wise it does kind of pull me up the hill when I have to go up the hill. So where the other one, that one has the M series, I do have to give it a little effort to get it up the hill. Of course, I can't actually, the wheels here will work on the M series, so I'm probably going to upgrade to these other wheels just because to get more traction. So, well, we'll do a little cold start here. 2 pumps. Full choke. Here, just for hell of it, we'll start up the old starter kit.